I've got my coffee. I hope you've got yours. Maybe we can have a chat. I think we've been asking all the wrong questions. Why do you think I'm saying that? Well, I've been questioning a lot about the work that I do, my purpose, why I'm here, what I'm doing, sitting on a podcast talking to you. And so for a long time I've been giving answers that I think are a little bit cliched. It's a calling, those kind of things. But I've been sitting with it for so long that I've started questioning the whole system, the whole way that we do things. And I don't know if you have questions too. Maybe you do. Maybe we can explore those questions together. I think every day when I'm working, I am asking the same question. And that is, what can I do to relieve someone else's burden? What would have helped me? What would have taken some of the pressure off? I remember sitting in the dark in a caravan just about 20 years ago now, thinking, why is this so hard? Why is it so hard? Why doesn't anyone understand? And I think that over the years it has made me question the system that we use to help people. So I've got plenty of questions. I'm sure you've got plenty of questions too. Looking back, there's so many things that I remember over the last 20 years of working in the field, maybe longer even, because even when I was going through my own difficulties, I've always had this burning desire to help other people. It's almost a wish that if I can help someone else, then my journey has meaning. So, yeah, that's hard, hey? Let me have some coffee. When I think about the cases that have always stuck with me, they're cases where I've struggled so hard to get the system to work for someone, for the support that people need to be there. I spend a lot of time thinking about the people who took their own lives because they just couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel. I think about having those emotions myself, but maybe being strong enough or maybe not having the courage to give up. And I know that sounds weird. I know it sounds difficult to say I didn't have the courage to give up. I don't know how to do anything other than fight. Fight for peace. Fight for freedom. Fight for our rights. Fight for people to be able to live their lives free of the burden of what other people have done to them. So those things are still in my mind. Are they still in yours? Oh, my gran would have a heart attack if I was holding my cup like that. So let me hold my cup properly, because now I feel guilty because I'm not holding my cup properly when you're watching me. Anyway, I digress. So I think over the years, the lessons that have stuck with me the most is that it's so easy to say the wrong thing or to do the wrong thing. And maybe that's because we're asking the wrong questions. We're asking questions like, what is the right thing to do here? Instead of, how can I make this person feel better? How can I bring clarity to a situation? Instead of, you should do this or you should do that. Being a survivor myself has taught me more than any textbook could. And working with survivors for so many years has taught me way more than any theory could. Because theories are great and textbooks are great. Policies, procedures, roles, they're all great. But they aren't great if they aren't applied properly. And where's the benchmark for that? And how do we know? How do we know what to do in every different situation? Because although we have a lot in common, all of our situations have their own nuances, their own differences. If there's one thing that I can say about trying to be in a field where the goal is for people to become their best selves, is that it can be exhausting. And I see exhaustion around me every day. I see exhausted survivors. I see exhausted first responders, exhausted policemen, social workers, professionals, volunteers, people working in the field, doctors, lawyers. They are all exhausted. And the question is, why are they exhausted? Why are they so tired? Are they tired because the work is traumatizing? Or are they tired because we're trying to fit people into a system that isn't created for them? We're trying to fit people into boxes that they just don't fit in. We expect survivors to be told the solution and then just jump into it and be okay. Because that's what we want. We want them to be okay. But the best cases, the best end results are the ones where you start off talking to someone and they can barely catch their breath. And when you've walked a journey with them, they now are at a place where they can breathe. They can laugh again. I think that maybe by trying to be the reasonable person, by trying to put rules in place that say a reasonable person would, we have created a situation where we expect people to be reasonable. And the one thing that I've learned about abuse is there's no one reasonable in those situations. Abusers are not reasonable. Survivors are often not reasonable. They're emotional and they're caught in things that are hard to describe and hard to pinpoint. And so a system that makes a survivor behave a certain way or goes, well, that can't be true because that just doesn't sound reasonable. Why don't you just suck it up and move on? We ask survivors to be the strongest people, but survivors are the ones that are hurting the most. So I'm trying to think back. I'm a survivor. The day that I picked up the phone and I reached out for help. Do you know what happened to me? I waited 4 hours and nobody came. They promised me they'd come, but they didn't come. I phoned a service provider. I'm not going to say who it was. I sat there going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I spent weeks trying to find solutions, hitting my head against the wall, going, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? So now when I hear other survivors coming to me, I'm thinking to myself, how do I make you feel better? How do I ease your burden? How do I explain to you that if what you want is justice, you're going to have to repeat your story over and over again, and best you not get anything wrong. Best when you're telling someone the story, it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it makes sense. when I know for a fact that the stories don't make sense. They sound fantastical. How many decisions do you expect a survivor to make? They've got to decide to leave, decide what to take, decide who to speak to, decide who to tell what, try to figure out who's going to believe what. And then we judge them. We judge them because they lied about something. We judge them because they were too afraid to say something. They took a long time to tell anyone. It's tricky. Because from the outside, how do you know what the truth is? It's a tricky situation. But we try to put all of that into these tick boxes and these reports that tell you who to do it, who to talk to, what to do, where to go. And half the time when you go to those places, there's no one there that understands. And that's what makes people lose hope. Because nobody seems to understand that nothing is making sense. So what if, when we've been trying to help people, we're actually making their journey harder? Take this number, phone this person, do this, do that, confuse them, never ask them what it is they actually want to get out of this. You know, most of the time people just want some peace. I just want this to stop, and I want the pain to stop. And I don't want to have to go through this, and I don't want the shame, and I don't want the questions, and I don't want the fear anymore. I just want to be allowed to be me. And the problem is I don't even know who I am either. I lost who I was. Those are the burdens I think that I carried, and I think most survivors carry. And that I think they shouldn't have to. I don't think that we should have even more pressure put on us after we've been hurt so badly. Pressure to perform and succeed and to heal and to be perfect. To never have done anything wrong. Because then there's questions about who was the aggressor. To never have made mistakes. So if I had to start at the beginning of my journey again today, would I have done everything the same? I was fortunate. Even though I struggled, and even though people didn't understand, and even though I was ashamed, I had people who did try to ease my burden. And I think that's why I come from the place that I come from today. But knowing what I know now, there's many things I think that could have been easier. There's many things that I didn't do that I probably could have, but I didn't know about them. So if I had to do it over again today, I think I would also struggle because things have changed so much. And that's an interesting question. With all the systems that we've put into place to help people, are we really making a difference? Have we really changed anything for a survivor journey? And how much time do we take to just sit with someone and say, I believe you? I can't carry your burden for you, but I can sit with you through it. Because even in my own journey, there was many times that I just wanted to give up. I really believe that if we listen to the voice of survivors, if we understand what it's like, then maybe we can build something better. But if we're going to build something better, we need to listen to their voices. We need to understand what the problems really are. So I really want to explore all of these questions with you. And I hope that you'll join me for many more coffee chats so that we can find a way to ease people's burdens, to make the world a better place. So before we have coffee again next week, this week, while you're navigating life, why don't you ask the question, how can I ease your burden? Am I pressurizing you to be something that you're not? Because if we can remove a burden of someone else's journey, I think that's where real change will start. I'll see you next week. Don't forget your coffee.